So on this episode, we're going to discuss a technique that I used to save $700 on my trip to Hawaii.
That might be out of my
That
budget.
might be out of my budget.
Is it expensive?
How much is it?
How much is it?
What do they eat?
Do they have vegan options?
I don't know. I can't eat what they eat over there.
What is there to do there?
Man, I heard that place is boring.
I heard that place is boring.
Is it even safe over there?
Is it even safe
That
over
place
there?
even safe?
But is it safe for
Is it even
single
safe
women?
over there? You know they been killing people.
What should I pack?
I don't know.
I heard the rooms are small and they don't even have AC.
I don't know where to begin to plan a trip.
Is there a language barrier?
Man, I don't know.
So 2 years ago, matter of fact, exactly 2 years ago, because it was in November, I flew out to Hawaii, and it's important to note that this was before Southwest Airlines entered the market. Southwest Airlines entered the market and they dramatically lowered a lot of those routes to Hawaii. You know, being that they are kind of a low-cost leader airline, a lot of other airlines had to lower their price to follow suit. Southwest entered the marketplace this year. I believe as of March was their inaugural flight. So 2 years ago, the cheapest flight I could probably find coming off of the West Coast was to Honolulu, $350 to $380-ish round trip. Now I just looked them up as of last week, and they're around $280 to $260, $250-ish. So that's a dramatic improvement since entering the market. Just to give context in terms of where it was when I went and where it is now. Now, the concept that I'm about to show you isn't the most revolutionary thought in the world. Matter of fact, I'm blowed. I didn't think of it. I mean, I thought of it. I'm just mad it took me so long to figure it out. Because honestly, it's simple. And you're like, man, why didn't I think about this? But the trick is the tools that you use to execute this technique, if that makes sense. So right now we will work through basically what I did, and you can use it pretty much for anything today. And it doesn't necessarily have to apply, of course, to Hawaii. I was looking up flights last night, and pretty much I was doing the same thing, using this same website to try to figure out shortcuts around it. So here we go. In 2017, the best deal coming out of Atlanta I could find was $1,100. And honestly, that was a steal. If I can remember correctly, there weren't too many airlines offering nonstop flights. Delta was the only one I can think of. So I searched for fares in reverse. Instead of looking for the cheapest flight departing Atlanta, I searched for the cheapest fare going into Honolulu. I flew for free to San Francisco on points. Again, we got to make sure we keep our miles up so you can keep that flexibility for situations like this. And then I took that 300 and something plus tax round trip flight out of San Francisco. Now I'll take 400 over 1100 any day. Again, make sure you have those flyer miles up. You got to keep them up so that you can be flexible when it comes to situations like this. Now, Delta has a feature that allows you to go half and half, spend some of your miles to decrease the cost of the total flight. Sometimes the math works out, but in this situation, it just came out cheaper for me to use those rapid reward miles to get. But here's the thing. How did I know the cheapest flight was out of San Francisco? It makes sense that it would be cheaper from the West Coast, but you have a lot of airports to choose from. So I use Airfare Watchdog. So Airfare Watchdog and Google Flights are pretty much my two go-tos. Let's check out Airfare Watchdog. As I previously mentioned, most search engines you search by departure, but here you can search fares to a city. All right, feel that pop up. As you can see, all 50 states are listed, including Hawaii, Honolulu, right here. We have all the international locations as well. So I hit Honolulu. It's gonna come out sorted in alphabetical order. Boom, sort by price, fare type, domestic. Of course, these initial islands are all Hawaiian islands as well, so it's gonna be cheap. Let's get to, here we go, LA. somewhere I can get to. Round trip from LA, $258. San Jose, $275. Oakland, $277. Sacramento, $277. San Diego, $287. And so on. As you can see, the different locations sort of are priced. Now, all of these are going to be at this price because of specific dates that they found. So what I need to do, now that I know which airports have the cheapest flights, let me set my own date. So here we go with Google Flight. All right, Atlanta, LAX, San Francisco, Oakland. I'll leave something out. Go in San Jose. Go ahead and grab San Diego as well. Now, like I said, Google Flights is a beast. It's gonna search through all of these departure points into Honolulu. It's gonna be mapped out. So over this, I think Google Flights has it mapped out well out over a year, and you're gonna get the lowest price for each day highlighted in green. So just to give a demonstration, let's go with February. We'll do a week. Now you click on each one, it's going to give you all the details. With the date grid, it's going to tell you if you leave a day earlier or later, how it affects the price. And this is going to kind of give you an idea of the cheapest time of year to go. So you can get an idea or a gauge of those flights go up over the summer or if they're cheaper in the winter or whatnot. Also track prices, and then they will email you routinely with changes in price. Now with these two, these are cheaper, but it's recommending these flights to be a better option. But let's say I want to spend the extra 3 hours of my life on a plane just to save, what, $10, 15. And just for the sake of it, let's see. Okay, let's go with it. Then you pick your returning flight. And then there you go. Now, there's gonna give you the booking options at the bottom. You can book directly on the site or through Google. Good thing about Priceline is that you can book it through Priceline and you're good for 24 hours. So Google Flights is a beast. It's pretty much the only search engine that I use. I'll do more later on all of its features because it's a lot to cover. But basically all these travel sites and blogs who post mistake fares and things like that, that's pretty much what they use. But we'll cover it in a later episode. I hope this information is useful. Sometimes it just isn't as simple as flying to a closer airport. Some airports are just simply cheaper. For example, my trip to Amsterdam, I went back west to Chicago and then back east to Amsterdam. Just simply off the fact that O'Hare was a much cheaper airport to fly out of than Atlanta. Just really that simple. Another important note, make sure you give yourself enough of a buffer time on those layovers. The average delay time in the airline industry is about an hour. Keep in mind, I said average because I know everyone has a story about huge delays, but you just want to make sure you give yourself enough buffer. Most airlines will credit you up to about an hour or 30 minutes before a flight. Make sure you give yourself enough time to go back through security check. Most pre-check lines after the morning rush are really zero to nothing. You can really just skate right through. On the next tips episode, we'll discuss more ways to stack miles so you can be prepared for stuff like this. Stay tuned, hit the subscribe button below, tell a friend, and I'll see y'all on the next episode.